Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming by. This is Allie at Heart and Soul Connected, and I'm so pleased to have with me today a special guest, Seanna Rose.
Hello.
And thank you so much, Seanna, for coming, especially early on a Saturday morning.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, sure. I'm pleased to have you. I did a little bit of looking around on your channel just to get some feel of all your different things that you do. And I know you work with tarot.
I
And you
do.
also a medium,
Yes.
and I guess a psychic as well. I know there's a difference between psychic and medium,
Yeah.
and you're also a Reiki master.
Yes.
Wow, that's really awesome. You put all those things together. So tell me, let's start from the very beginning. Tell me when you became interested in.
Well, uh, see, originally I had grown up Christian, and
Mhm.
for the longest time, um, tarot cards and mediumship and stuff like that, not allowed. Not allowed to learn about it. Not allowed to be
Right.
interested in it. Mm-mm.
Yep.
Uh,
I
but
understand. Yep.
as I got older, I was still fascinated by all that stuff, and I wanted to learn about it, as much as I could
Sure.
without getting caught. And it
Yep.
actually wasn't until I was about 21, I think.
Okay.
I'm 25 now. So it was about 4 years ago I started my Reiki training, just level 1, and learning about it. And I kept seeing everywhere, like Reiki, just advertising for Reiki classes, or it would just come up into my awareness online, like, hey, benefits
Yep.
of Reiki. Should I learn Reiki? Things like
Need
that.
to
And
learn
I'm
it.
like,
It's
oh my
telling
God,
you.
I get it. I'll learn Reiki. And then it was after I had received my first couple of attunements, it was like, holy crap, all the psychic channels opened up wide.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was actually during my Reiki training. Uh, I went to one of the metaphysical shops in my town for the training. She
Mhm.
had a display of tarot cards and oracle cards. So the first cards that I had ever gotten, I actually have, were these Ask and It's Given oracle cards.
Oh,
These are really good. Very,
from
very, they're full of,
Abraham. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
useful
Okay.
affirmations, great for manifesting.
Uh-huh.
And so I started learning about them and pulling a card, each day, and the message
Mhm.
would resonate. And
Right.
then um, I used to have, I gave them to somebody else since, but I used to have oracle cards with words from Jesus on them. And
Okay.
every time I needed some kind of advice or whatever, I would shuffle and pull one, and it would always just be the right thing I needed to hear. Anyways,
Yeah,
around like,
that's awesome.
yeah, about like 3 years ago, I think, it was towards the end of like 2018, I started finding tarot readers on YouTube. And of course, I found a bunch of the ones that do political readings. And I
Right.
thought it was kind of, I thought it was kind of cool though, because I was just barely starting to get into tarot. And these channels helped me to understand how to read the certain cards, and at the same time helped me to understand some of the craziness happening in North
Right.
America.
Sure. Especially
Yes.
down here in America. Whoa. Yeah.
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 And then I don't know, I decided to start recording my own readings and putting them on my channel, just as a way to record my progress. And
Right.
so I didn't expect anybody to look at them or subscribe or anything like that. And actually, I think it was Jen Lynn Tarot. She had found my channel and she gave me lots of wonderful advice, and she brought me on to like kind of like what we're doing, to
Uh-huh.
chat and
Yeah.
stuff on her channel. And so
Yeah.
she and a few other readers were extremely helpful for my growth on YouTube. And
That's
I don't know, I just
wonderful.
haven't looked back since. I just dove
Uh-huh.
headfirst into. I've
Good.
always had kind of mediumship tendencies. When I was younger, I didn't know what it was.
Uh-huh.
And I just felt so drawn to, after a while, mediumship. And
Mhm.
oh, I love it. I love it.
Isn't it awesome? It really, I
It
mean, I'm
is.
just a budding beginner, but every time I get something and it turns out to be a hit, so to speak, I get
Yes.
really jazzed up. Wow, it really is there. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, good.
Oh,
Uh-huh. So did you study with anybody, or this is just something you worked with?
I think, I mean, I when I did my Reiki training, I did study a little bit with,
With Reiki, yeah, but I mean
yeah,
mediumship.
Reiki,
Yeah.
things like also like feeling energy.
Hmm.
We worked on a little bit of meditation. But then, yeah, it was just from practice, just reading, doing tarot readings and just doing it again and again and again.
Sure.
Eventually, I felt strong enough to do them for other people, you
Hmm.
know, my friends and stuff like that. And then they were very happy with like how the readings turned out. I guess they were accurate or whatever. And
Hmm.
then I just, I don't know, I just kept trying. And then I had viewers asking, well, you can practice on me. Do you want to practice
Yeah.
on me? And then all of a sudden they're like, you should start charging for this. And so this is my job now.
Yeah, I figured it probably was. And I saw
Yes,
that you just got lots of new equipment, and that was exciting for you as well.
I did. I have some wonderful viewers who surprised me with this lovely equipment.
I didn't know that. Wow. That, aren't they great? This community
I'm
is
still
just
shook.
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great, Sienna. I'm so happy to hear that. I know that viewers are supportive in so many different ways,
Mm.
on community boards and watching and being moderators and all that, but sending you your new equipment. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, yeah.
And like in lots of different ways, I wouldn't be where I am without the viewers. The
Sure.
viewers have become my clients,
I
and this is
understand.
like
And
my
they're
bread and
friends.
butter, and this is
Yeah, they
something I
become
love to
friends.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
I'm
couldn't do it
really
without them.
I'm really pleased for you because I wish that I had been able to do that at 25. I think I would have been a lot happier. Um, you know, I just stumbled around. I studied it all, but there wasn't nowhere to go with it at that time
Mm,
in my life because, I'm older. But, just this venue being able to reach out and get people from all over the world basically to
yes.
come to your channel. I see Flora is here from Australia. Hello and welcome and thank you. And I just want to shout out to Melinda and Vivian and Anne and let's see who else is here today. Janet and Jean and Kim. Well,
Yeah,
and
lots
all of
today.
you. Yeah. Thanks for being here this morning and welcoming Sienna to the channel. Yeah. Oh, so I'm really excited about that. So I have to ask this burning question though.
Of
How has it
course.
been with those people who are Christian that are, I guess, your family, or has that been difficult?
Actually, my family's been very supportive.
Oh,
I have
good.
really good people in my family, and
That's good.
I'm very very lucky in that way. There, you know, there's one person that is still hesitant there,
Mhm.
and it's because they very firmly believe in what they believe in,
Of course. And
and they're
that's
just
that's
trying to
okay.
do what they feel is the right thing,
Understood.
and I get it. But
Yeah.
we've just decided it's better just to not talk about it than to bump heads every time we interact because, you
Right.
know, of
We can
course, this
agree to
person I'm
disagree and still get along. Yeah. And we
exactly
all need
because
that. Yeah.
keeping
Yeah.
a relationship with them is more important to me. However,
Absolutely.
my grandma and some other people in my family extremely supportive
Oh, that's
and very
wonderful.
excited for me. Yes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Do you have siblings as well?
I have three siblings. I'm the third out of four. I got two older
Okay.
sisters and a younger brother. Yeah.
Does anybody have the gift besides you?
Um, Actually, I'm sure that my siblings, they probably do. Everybody does have that
Oh,
ability to
I
connect
agree.
to spirit
Yeah.
in their different
Yeah.
ways. Um,
Mhm.
my dad he's very intuitive,
Uh-huh.
and a lot, especially like he would say like when he was younger, to like a lot of some of the intuitions and stuff he got ended up happening, and it was just
Yeah.
too weird to be a coincidence.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and then my auntie, my grandma, on the same side of the family, dad's side, and my great grandma on dad's side, she was also psychic.
Okay.
So
So that's where
it was
that
cool. This
line
was
is
stuff
where you got all that.
it was stuff that I actually wasn't completely aware of until just recently, until I started doing all of this too.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Now, are you able to connect with any of your people on the other side, or is that harder to do for you? Because I know it's hard for some people to do.
Sometimes,
Okay.
however. I do have lots of dreams where I have a grandpa, my mom's father. He
Uh-huh.
passed away about 6 years ago, and
Okay.
he was extremely important to me in my life, of course. And I do connect with him through dreams at night.
Oh, nice.
It is nice,
It
and
is.
my great grandma, she shows up in my dreams too. But it's hard for me to like get my cards out and try and get a reading or something with my grandpa because I usually end up crying.
I understand. You're
Because like,
so
you know,
close to him. Yeah.
yeah. And just to know, just to feel that he's like right close again, it's just sometimes it is a lot.
Understood.
So I think
Understood.
he and I kind of have an agreement where it's like, I'll come to you in your dreams where you're way more open to this and you're not going to get
Right.
sad.
Right. And if you're upset or crying, you can do it in the privacy of your bed. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had that situation where I've had dreams of past loved ones, and they're very, very real.
They are.
And I don't like waking up because it's like I was spending time with them, and now I got to get up and it's all gone. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I often have dreams about being in my grandpa's old house. And for some reason, I'm getting ready for school or getting ready to go somewhere. I often like to interpret those dreams as he's helping me prepare for the day
Okay.
or
Yeah,
helping
I
me to,
like
you know,
that.
prepare for life.
Right, right. That's cool. I remember one of the first times I had a regression, I guess it was. Um, I went into this, trance or whatever it was, and they said, go back to a time in your life when you were really, really extremely happy, and tell me what's going on. And I was probably in my 30s at that time, and I went back to being 10 years old. And my brother had called on that particular day. He lived in California. He called on that particular day to invite me to come summer as a kid. He was going to we were going to
Ooh,
go
oh, that'd
camping
be
and all
fun.
that. Yeah. So I'm standing at the telephone table, which is something we used to have. And I'm standing
Yeah.
there and I can see the wallpaper on the wall, and I can see all of the intricacies of the wallpaper, and I felt all excited like I was the kid again. And that was the most powerful thing that I've gone through at that point. It was like, wow, you might be able to, you can't time travel, but you can that way. So
Yes. Oh, that's
yeah,
amazing.
I know. Yeah. So it
Hmm.
was really a wonderful experience. And I've also had experiences where I like Native American stuff. So I went to a
Oh,
powwow that weekend.
cool.
My dad passed and he came in to the powwow. And yeah, I didn't know
Oh,
that he had passed right then because they didn't have cell phone then.
oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and so I found out later, but yeah, it was,
Oh.
those things have happened to me all life, but really the, I think I've shut it down when I was
Mm.
younger for some reason. It wasn't due to, religious or any peer pressure or anything like that. I think I was afraid. And
Yeah. Yeah.
do you feel that other people feel the same way? Have you felt that way, that you might hear or do something that might not make you happy, or?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to when I was younger, I don't get this so much now, but I used to get sleep paralysis like crazy.
Oh,
Around
wow.
age, it started around 13, and I realized that it was actually I didn't realize until I was an adult. For whatever
Right,
reason, this was me going out of body, but being aware of going out of body. And
right.
that scared me so bad as a kid that I
Sure.
shut that completely down until I was like, I don't know, until about my Reiki training, until I was about 20, 21,
Oh,
22.
okay. Okay.
And so now I have to relearn how to do this. I'm like, oh my
Like
gosh,
astral travel? Yeah,
astral
like,
projection.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to do that again.
So you're not
Yeah.
fearful. Yeah.
Right.
But
So
I
I can
think
do it on purpose.
it was just protecting you from getting up and hurting yourself if you were out of body, so to speak. I would think that's the
Yes.
reason. But when you're a child, ooh, what did I do? Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, there's something demonic in my room. You
Right,
know,
right.
I
Oh,
was
no.
scared. I felt something was sitting on my chest. And then of course, that is just a symptom of sleep paralysis. You feel
Sure.
heavy and, because I
Yeah.
mean, and whether you, I think we kind of go out of body every night without even being aware.
Oh, we do,
But,
I think. Yeah.
Whether you're aware of that or not, your body does do that to keep you from acting out your dreams.
I know. Could you imagine?
Oh
You
my
have
God.
a sword and you're having a sword fight with somebody. That would be awful. Yeah.
Oh, running around
Oh,
the room. Drive my husband crazy. Or my
so Lynn
fiance.
Ginesky said that her daughter had sleep paralysis as a teenager as well. So Lynn, your daughter might also have some gifts that she's not aware of.
I wonder if there's also because like this is in the teenage years. This is when you're still growing and there's all these hormones and
Right.
I wonder if that maybe has something to do with it as well. If there's something physiological that triggers it or something like that. I believe that all of this stuff is connected, the physical, the metaphysical, things like
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. The same thing with illnesses and
Yes.
Other things that happen in our lives. Yeah.
Yes.
Have you been to see Esther Hicks? Have you been able to see her or the Abraham? No.
I've
Okay.
just been able to watch things online
Right.
with her and read.
I've seen her 3 times. And the people that are there are, it's nice to be sitting in a group of metaphysical people. Of course, now we can't anyway because of the virus, but it's like this vibration going, and it was just amazing,
Oh, yeah. The closest thing I guess I could say I've experienced is a couple years ago, or right before the pandemic reached us and shut everything down. I went to a Reiki share in my city, and it was just wonderful being around all these other people who, like you were saying, it just raised the vibration of the room. It raised everyone's vibration, and we were practicing the Reiki on each other and getting all kinds of wonderful insights. And oh, it was just so powerful.
It's amazing. It's probably you felt like you could rule the world,
Oh,
it's just
and it was just so relaxing.
Yeah, sure.
I can't wait to do that again. As soon as people are able to get back together and do that stuff. I would
That's the only thing I miss. That's the only thing I miss about being away. It's just some of those experiences that they're so nice. It's so nice to connect. I have to tell you something pretty interesting that I read. So Lynn says that her daughter saw the boogeyman in her room. Okay, so we always say the boogeyman when there's something that we can't explain. Be good, or the boogeyman will come and get you. Well, the boogeyman originated in a couple of civilizations where they would pick one person to have all the sins and the problems, and they would be sacrificed at the end of this particular time, and they were called the boogeyman because they were the sacrificial lamb for the group. So everybody had to be nice to them. Yeah, everybody had to be nice to them. They gave them more food. They did all kinds of things, but they eventually were sacrificed and killed. And so, but isn't that an interesting? I never knew that. I thought it was something somebody made up.
I never knew that either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I love that. So yeah, I hope you can. Do you work at all? I know you do this all online, but do you also work like at metaphysical bookstores or psychic fairs?
Not yet, due to the pandemic. I used to have an office in my town, but the whole building, the office building complex closed, and I was like, okay, this is not worth it because we still had to pay rent on the spaces.
Oh,
and stuff,
definitely.
So,
yeah.
Right now I have a home office. I do a lot of this remotely, but I have had like personal friends come over or, in the past and get readings and stuff. Yeah. But
this really works. I mean, there's nothing, I think for once, one of the things we could learn from the pandemic and staying home is that this works. And
it does.
It's still important. It works and it connects us all and it makes us feel so much stronger. Yeah.
Right. And I found, well, I'm from Canada, and most of my viewers and clients are from the US.
Okay.
And this works perfectly.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to see them in person.
and you can give Reiki treatments remotely like this as well. And it's very fun to do. It's just as effective as in person.
So the people that you send Reiki to, I'm pretty familiar with Reiki, but but not over the net. So I'm guessing they can feel that energy. Can they feel that energy? They do.
I'm gonna grab something. I'll be right back.
All right, take your time. In the meantime, I'm going to say hello, Marvita and Chris and everybody else in the chat. Thank you so much. Oh,
This is Rainbow. I've had him since I was about 7. He
uh-huh.
is my Reiki rabbit. I like to lay him on my table. I have one, my one camera pointing just down overhead at him.
Okay.
And everything that I do on him, like the different, hand positions, working the different chakras and stuff, it's representative of the client.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for them as well. So he's my Reiki buddy. And that's how I do distance healing with him.
That. Just think of all the Reiki that Bunny has as well. You'd just be able to, somebody else could hold it and get all that Reiki.
Yeah. I don't have any kids, at least not yet, but maybe someday. And, I think that would be very, very useful.
It would be.
Give all their stuffed toys a big dose of Reiki.
My puppy could use it. Today I don't have her with me, thank goodness, but she's just a bundle of energy and she needs something else. Yeah. So that's
animals, really, they love Reiki.
I bet they do. I bet they do.
Sometimes you got to give it from a distance because some animals don't want to be touched or they're just too busy. But they do love it. Same with babies.
Oh, sure.
Same thing. Sometimes they're way too busy, but they do love it.
They are sponges. Yeah. Have you ever done any psychic work with pets? Can you read pets? Can you read what they think? There are some people that just do pets. I didn't know if you did that.
Sometimes. Okay. I haven't had the opportunity to do it a lot. I don't currently have pets of my own, but I have for clients in the past, and it was really cool because I used to be hesitant. Like I used to be not sure about it. Like, oh, is that a real thing? But it is, and it's very helpful.
Oh, yes, it is. I mean, sometimes, the pet can't talk and well, I'd like it better if you put my bed over here. I don't like it where it is, or whatever it is that they,
or just like, with one of them, it was like something hurts and it was just a very subtle hurt. And then they got their dog checked out and I don't know, there was like something in her paw or something like that. And then she was fine. Yeah. But, just little things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I keep drawing the comparison between pets and babies. I used to look after babies. This is how I know this. That early learning in childcare is actually was my original trade. I went to school for that, and I did specialize in infant care, and that is very helpful for infants too, because especially when they're too young to talk. Yes. And I would teach them sign language. Like they're hungry or more, they want more or whatever. Right. But there's some things that are just too complex for them to express.
Absolutely.
And, so sometimes it was just useful, like at rest time, somebody maybe wouldn't have started crying yet, but I get the feeling that, this one's a little bit anxious. I better go sit with her or something like that. Yeah.
So intuited how the babies were feeling. Okay. Yeah. Well, I like that because I'm thinking to myself, we carry all these traumas. My husband's a chiropractor, and when people give birth to a brand new baby, a lot of people would say, you wouldn't bring it to a chiropractor, but actually they do. And because the birth canal especially is very, very small, and there's a lot of trauma coming out. Yeah.
Oof. Good thing babies are flexible.
Well, they don't have that. They have that fontanelle that's, not closed that can help them. But still, just coming down through the birth canal. It's funny because I'm actually a professor of English and humanities. We read this book about this man who has an experience where he is coming down a birth canal, but he's dying. He's likening it to being rebirthed in another place. So he says, this dark sack it's explained really well. It's from Tolstoy, The Death of Ivan Ilyich, if anyone wants to know. But at the very end, there's this long, dark, and he's afraid. And I'm thinking to myself, well, we've been reincarnated. So everybody's probably thinking as they're coming out, oh God, do I want to do this again? Or,
Here we go again.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Have you been able to work at all with past lives?
On my channel, I do some past
Good.
life readings.
Okay.
So, and I mean, that's fun. I like to do past life readings on different like public figures and stuff. It helps me
Oh,
to get a
yeah.
lot of practice. And I
Yes.
have read past lives for clients before, and it's so cool. I love it. It's
Wow.
amazing what we can learn and some of the similarities between previous incarnations and our current one.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh,
Mm,
definitely. Well, this
yeah.
is where I opened up because I had a reading in the Akash with Bob Brunges. He does that.
Cool.
And that night I had everybody visiting me in my bathroom at 3 a.m. when I got up to pee. So it was like, boom, you know. And my bathroom got very crowded very quickly, but it was awesome. I was in awe because I could hear all these people and they were saying, hi, hi, you know. And I'm thinking, oh wow, this is unbelievable. I need another one though,
Mhm.
because it's less dramatic now, you know, but at the same
Mm,
time, I'm like, thank you, please come back, you know, don't
yeah.
leave me.
I've
Oh,
had my Akashic records read once, and it was pretty cool.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm.
What did you find out?
Interesting.
Or
That got
if you
me
want to
interested
share.
in past lives.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yes, Lynn, I will put that in his info in the Dropbox. And Melinda, you don't drive me crazy. I'm just letting you know that. And so anyway, so if you were doing a tarot reading on somebody, you have a particular deck you like using now more than another, or is it you just get the feeling of I'm going to use this one?
See, yeah, it depends. I often will use. I have my Rider Waite,
Okay,
or some people like the Angels Tarot, and they're more comfortable with the angelic sort of imagery.
sure.
Um, and with my Rider Waite, these ones are smaller. They're easier to use. I can just,
I
throw
like
them out
the
on my
radiant
table.
deck because it's brighter as well. The colors are really, yeah,
Yeah,
they pop. Yeah.
yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Did you start with the Rider Waite?
I did when I first
Okay.
was learning tarot. Actually, almost.
Okay.
I forgot. I had originally bought my first actual tarot deck was an Angels Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue,
Oh yes.
and
Okay.
I used to have that. I gave that to a friend of mine who was interested in tarot because the deck just didn't really resonate anymore. And as I was learning all the different card meanings, I just kept getting the Rider Waite interpretations. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, let's just get the Rider Waite deck because there's all this info on it. I might as well just practice with it. And
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
good.
stuff.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's the one I got many, many years ago, but I'm still tarot and me. I know, what a lot of them mean, but putting them all together with I can't do it for some reason. So,
It is a process. It takes time.
it
Yeah,
definitely does.
it
Yeah.
does.
More comfortable with the oracle cards, but I
Those are nice too.
look at this one, Sacred
Oh,
Earth Oracle. Absolutely gorgeous. I started using it yesterday, and look at this. I mean, just gorgeous pictures.
oh, I love the
Yeah.
art.
Yeah, the art is really
The
awesome.
art is what makes it that it
Really
usually
does.
is one of the
Yeah.
biggest factors in does this deck resonate with me? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I can connect to the imagery on there, yeah. Those ones are beautiful.
Aren't they beautiful? I was really pleased with them. Whoops. I had a viewer question for you. What sort of title would you give your gifts?
That's interesting because I've thought about this too. Because there's some people that are like, I'm an empath, I'm a light worker,
Right.
I'm a this or that. I
Mhm.
try not to limit myself and
Good.
put a label on it because I can't even decide on a label to use. So when people ask what I do for work, I just say I'm a professional psychic or,
Right.
tarot reader, psychic medium, or
Yeah.
sometimes if
Or a
they're interested in,
metaphysician. You
yeah,
use the word metaphysical, so metaphysician, what you are, I
that's
guess.
actually that's what my fiance refers to me as when people ask, what does she do for work? Oh yeah, she has a metaphysical practice.
Uh-huh. Do people go, is she reading me? Is she reading me?
Some
It's
people
funny
get
because,
worried that I'm able to read their minds and whatever, and it's like,
yeah,
actually, no, that's not how it works. because I don't have your consent. And so spirit's not going to tell me something that's none of my damn business unless you
But
want
do
me
you ever
to.
get it in a mall, or you're walking in a mall, or you're walking somewhere and boom, all this stuff? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Feels really
I started
junky. Something.
to, before I realized that I actually had these capabilities, I used to get anxiety attacks in really busy places. Now I'm from Alberta. I live not far from Edmonton, which, you know, there's the West Edmonton Mall there.
Yes.
Huge
Huge.
shopping center. I would love going because, you know, it's fun to just look at all the different things and do a little bit of shopping and stuff like that. But I would get so exhausted by the end of the day,
Oh,
not
sure.
just because of all the walking you have to do in the mall. It was a mental and emotional exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the indoor theme park. They got Galaxyland in there. And
Inside. Okay.
oh
Wow.
yeah, it's like one of the biggest indoor theme parks. With like the roller coasters and cool stuff like that. And when I was younger, I loved it. That was great. And you know, I haven't been there in years. Maybe now that I have a bit of a handle on these empathic tendencies, maybe it would be better. But as a teenager, I would get full blown panic attacks in there.
I believe it.
I'd go in with friends.
Mm-hmm.
I would leave with like a friend's mom so I could go shopping and stay away from all of the people and all the noise. And it was just like it felt like a sensory overload in so many different ways beyond the physical.
Yeah, I understand. Chris Martin says it sounds kind of scary. She doesn't know how she'd handle your gifts. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I feel like for you, it's who you are. It's, you know, this is who you are. And you know it and you embrace it and you don't let anything. I just sense that. I can tell by the way you're talking. With other people, if it came on quickly, like when you were little with the paralyzing of the legs, it would be scary. But you know, your training or your work is and I just am so jealous you live in Alberta. It's the only place I've wanted to go now for years, to go to Lake Louise, and oh my God, it looks so beautiful. Yeah.
Alberta's interesting because, you know, it's so big that you can drive a few hours in one direction and the landscape will change immensely.
Sure.
It's lovely.
I bet it is. So you're aware, I'm guessing, that I have heard that the second or a very close second most UFO activity in this part of the world is in Alberta at Lake Louise. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard that. I didn't know if it was true, but in recent years, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe
when
it.
I heard that, I thought, well, there's another reason why I'd like to go. Because when I was younger, I was only about 11. I saw a UFO, and I've been fascinated by it ever since. And but I went to see what is it? West Coast. It was a guy that does a podcast that's pretty well known. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry, but he's a spiritual guy, and he's the one that said that Alberta was one of the places where a lot of UFO activity has happened. So,
and you know, and I just only know this because I've lived in this province all my life, but there are other towns in this place that have high spiritual energy. There's a little town, Viking, and they have a museum there. And I remember when I was about 17, my grandpa took me there for just a day trip, spend some time together. And I wasn't even like quote psychic then, or at least not aware.
Right.
And I was picking up just weird vibes from everything. And I just had this feeling like this place is haunted. I'm so glad we're here in the daytime. I went back a couple years after that, and I picked up the same thing. And driving through the town, it just, on the surface, it's this really, really small little place. So just like passing through there, you know, most people might not even notice or pay attention, but I very strongly picked up like there is a lot of spiritual energy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was all at the time. It was just kind of a mix of like, yep, there's some positive vibes, there's some weirder vibes.
Yeah. Weird energy. Wow.
Yeah, but I've heard that Lake Louise is a hub for spiritual activity.
Yeah, And look at that, Aspie third eye with the UFO as a picture.
Yeah.
Sightings reported where people are not looking at their phones. That's very true. I mean, everybody's looking down, and we miss so much.
Yeah.
Just even nature and things that are right there at our level, but they're not looking up here either. And UFOs don't make noise.
No.
So you're not, they are lighted, so you will look up because of the light, but it's like they're real quiet. Not like an airplane going over, but
Oh my gosh,
that's
where you
all.
see it and then you hear it and then you feel the vibrations.
Absolutely. Renee, Barbara, Roland, thanks for coming. We appreciate you. If anybody has any other questions for Seanna, please ask. I don't know if you want to do a couple of mini readings at all. You want to do some mini readings?
We can do a couple mini ones. I'll grab my rider
Okay.
blades.
And I'll use my new Oracle card. So if anybody got anything here for us, that'd be great. Is there anything you'd like to tell us that I haven't asked you, Seanna?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure that as soon as we're done here, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I want to bring this up. But, you know what I do want to say? A couple days ago, I reached 7,000 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you to everybody. I forgot to. I did a live stream yesterday, and I forgot to bring it up and express how much I appreciate
huge.
you.
That's huge.
I was shocked.
I'm teetering at almost 2,000, but I don't do I'm not the psychic person like everybody else, really. I just do these types of things and now doing some readings and some other stuff. But that's fabulous. Wow. That's really great. Good for you.
I was just really surprised that I would reach that amount.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
well, you'll be up there with Linda G eventually. She's got 45,000 people. I said that's a small town,
Yeah. That is. It's crazy. But at the same time, it's like this is 7,000 people that I must have been able to help in some way, so that feels good.
Right. Or want help from you.
Or take an interest in
and appreciate you. Yeah. I think that, you're so right. It's fabulous. I really congratulations. That's amazing. And when did you sort of started, I see you've been on YouTube for a long time, but you weren't doing your readings when you were you? Because it says 2013.
No, so 2013 was when I got my first smartphone and had the YouTube app downloaded and stuff like that. And that was when I first made a new account. And then I just used that as I would just watch YouTube with it. And then it wasn't until November 2018 I started actually posting.
Okay, so 3 years.
So it's been about 3 years.
21, almost 4 years. Okay. And I started in November. I just started last November. So, I'm really, was watching all you guys, especially the political stuff, as you well know, in America. And, but it was a comfort because I was hearing the same thing from so many of you. It was like, this is a validation. Very well. Yeah. And it really, it brought my blood pressure down. So how could I give that up? I needed it.
Right. It just, for me, hearing and reading all of this crazy stuff in the news,
right.
Holy crap. And then having it explained between the lines, what's happening that, behind the scenes that the news people don't tell us or don't know about or whatever. That actually brought some comfort and potential future outcomes because, free will decisions influence the future, but just having an idea of how things were going to turn out.
What's going on that we don't know about. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And just helping me to understand what I was reading in the news.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which isn't always correct, obviously. So I just read last night that bothered me that the FBI only has scant evidence that the January 6th insurrection was, set up and that bothered me a lot because I really don't believe that. I really believe that there were a lot of people that had planned it. So I hope that's wrong. It had to. That's what I thought. Yeah, absolutely.
Because so many people took part. Where did they hear about it? They had to hear
Mhm.
about it from some source.
Mhm.
At least somebody or a couple of
That's
somebody's
right.
had to have planned it.
That's right. And he was saying to people, we need to take the government and all this stuff. So anyway, yeah. So Chris would like to know, would you recommend a novice to buy tarot cards?
If you're
A newbie?
interested in them,
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth a try. There are some decks that cost less than others.
Yeah.
Like my Radiant right away. I don't remember how much it was, but it was pretty cheap. And it's like, if you like it and you resonate with it, wonderful. And if not, there might be somebody else in your life who would be interested in them,
Yeah, I
So,
agree with you. It's like me. I have 50 decks, but I've only found 3 that I really like.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
have a whole big tin full of different decks, and I do use once in a while. Some have one type of energy, good for certain kinds of readings, but I really would recommend getting a deck, and maybe just something basic. It doesn't have to be a complicated, like not like the Toth Tarot or anything like that. Lovely deck, very complicated. And my advice to new readers is to just do like 1 or 2 cards at a time. Just ask a question and put down a card. Just there's no need to rush into giant spreads or overthinking all the connections between all of them. But yeah, I do highly recommend that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even just pulling a card for the day or doing a 3-card spread.
Exactly.
Past, present, future. I think that, and you can use your book. There's also a deck you can get on Etsy. It's a little pricey. I think it's about $60 actually, but it has some of the meanings on the cards written. So
that would be good for
that would be a
beginners
very
too.
helpful thing. So I have a funny story actually. When I was in college, there was a bookstore down the street, and people would go in and out, and the students would go there. And one of my people that I knew, it wasn't a friend, stole a pack of tarot cards from the bookstore.
Yeah.
And she kept, I don't know about these cards. They keep saying death, 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 and judgment, and I'm like, karma. You need to take those back. It was interesting because, of course, at the time, a lot of people also didn't realize death was change and things moving and the tower and all that. But yeah,
because those and with clients especially, those cards will come up and I'll be like, don't worry about the imagery on here. Don't worry about what it looks like. This actually has good meaning. Those cards, it's the death card, the tower, the 10 of swords. Those ones with the kind of scarier looking imagery are usually they're usually a lot better in meaning than they look.
Yeah. Chris, I think you should do it. If you feel drawn to it, then get yourself a deck. Yeah. And just take your time with it. Yeah. Andrea Galvin wants to know if we can talk about the difference between oracle cards and tarot cards.
Yeah, for sure. So oracle cards, there are usually fewer. Tarot cards almost always have 78.
Right.
And they're split into the major arcana, numbered 1 through 22, I think. And those are the ones like the tower, death, the world, temperance.
Yeah.
And then, you got your minor arcana, oh my gosh, I almost said aces or spades, clubs, whatever. The hearts, or not hearts.
That's what it's based on, though.
It is, though. Yeah. You can read playing cards like tarot cards. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But you got like your cups, wands, pentacles, swords, ace through 10, and then page, queen, king, knight. Oracle cards tend to, I'll just use these for example, tend to have a specific message on them.
Right.
Like this one, for example, has a crystal on it, watermelon tourmaline, and the message on it is de-stress your mind, body, and schedule.
Yep.
And this other one is about divine intervention, giving it the advice that God sends miracles to answer prayers. Oracle cards, I find they tend to have advice or some kind of wisdom written on the cards.
I agree. Yeah.
And they're usually fewer than 78.
Right. There were sometimes 44, sometimes even 33. Look at this one. Now, if this is an oracle card from that deck I like. It's called Brilliance.
Oh, that's
And
pretty.
look at it. It is brilliance. It's wonderful. And
That's pretty.
what I like about it is intuitively, if someone had asked a question, then I would pull the card and then I would say to them what I thought that meant for them, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything ever wrong. I know they come with booklets, and
Yeah.
I didn't throw the booklets away, but I've talked to enough readers who said, you can figure that out. You don't need to have the booklet. Yeah.
Right. Like, for example, I have these Path of the Soul cards. These are very pretty.
Ooh, those are nice. Yeah.
And they have all kinds of fractal art.
Wow.
And there's no printing. Now, the guidebook has different, meanings for each one, but sometimes I will pull one, usually during like a pick a card reading. Sometimes I have those on my channel. I'll pull one and I'll give all my insights before going into the guidebook.
I understand. Yeah. And pretty much you're getting probably about the same thing. It's just that it's your interpretation.
Close enough. It's just usually worded slightly different.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. What I also like about it, Andrea, is somebody like me who doesn't really want to memorize some stuff. And I just feel more comfortable with it. So,
yeah.
Yes. Kate. Yes, that's right. Hi, Dusty, Rose, Renee, Kim. Thanks for everybody for coming. Let's see. It is worth the cost. I think that it's hard to justify sometimes. So you could go to tarot.com, I think it is. You can do polls for yourself there and start your work there. And then maybe ask somebody, oh, Christmas is coming. What do you want? I'd like a tarot deck. Although I feel like we are drawn to certain decks, and so somebody else choosing it for us may not be the best thing, but
right.
It's worth it. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Chris. Yeah, I hope you do it because I think it's just another way of insights. Hi, Ron. All right.
One of my viewers recently sent me these Moonology cards, and I'm very new to astrology. So these oracle cards actually have a lot of astrological elements to them. And these have been really cool too. I like that oracle cards can be very, they can be quite specific. Like these ones are astrology based, and there's other ones like you had that are based in Native American culture and
right.
And
stuff like that. The other one I have is in flowers and animals.
Oh, those are pretty.
Those are pretty. I found this deck and you can't. It's hard to find. But whoops, upside down, not helpful. Mysteries of Love, and this woman is Alana Hennessy. She has her own channel. And she is on Etsy, but she said she's out of them, and I understand why. They just look at this one, Confidence, and the Lion.
Oh, those are pretty.
Just lovely. So when I read with Susan Lynn on Sundays, I usually pull cards from this deck, but I might start pulling them from others. But I really do like the Native American ones a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do ritual at the moons? Have you done rituals at the moon?
Not particularly. I do a little bit of spell work and stuff for myself.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'm like, oh, the moon is in this phase. I wonder what kind of spells, if it's a spell to help me to let go of old stuff, old memories, old whatever, or a spell to help me boost my intuition or to help me get a better sleep or something like that. Right, sometimes I try to remember, this moon phase, ideal time to do this, but still very new.
New moon is for manifesting what you want by the full moon, which is tomorrow again. I think the full moon is tomorrow. Yeah. I'm not big on astrology. I mean, I love astrology, but I'm not an astrologer. So.
Yeah, same. I'm not an astrologer, but I find it fascinating.
Isn't it?
I like watching channels like Black and Orange Tarot and Astrology. Because she makes astrology just sound so simple and makes it just so much less complicated than I think it is.
I get you. A lot of people like that, being able to understand it without all the words, let's say. It's because it's very mathematical. That's my problem with it. I'm not a
I don't
math
like math.
person, but I really,
Hmm.
yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yep. And yes, Kate, just Kate, trusting to use your intuition is a practice. It is. And
Yes.
it's a practice that has been stifled, I think, because, oh, that couldn't be right. It's just what I'm thinking. It couldn't be right. But we really, really need to listen to it. Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes we're taught to disregard our feelings.
Correct.
And
Yep.
and okay, sometimes, yeah, emotional reactions to things happen, but there are times where there's this undeniable feeling or something resonates
Yes.
and you just feel
Yes.
it so strongly.
Yes.
There are times where maybe it is worth listening to. I
It,
think we
it
live in a
definitely
world
is.
that values logic over intuition,
Right.
and
Yep. We do. Yep.
a lot of people just have to learn how to bring those two things into balance. It does take time,
Balance.
and
Absolutely.
having the self-confidence, be able to trust yourself,
Yep.
and the intuitions that you get,
Yep.
that's a pretty big step too, but it's worth it.
I
Mhm.
think so. Yeah.
And I
Very
think it builds
wise.
your own
You're
personal
very wise.
confidence.
I love you because you're so wise, and you're
Thanks.
lucky that you opened so early because you got lots of life to go, and you're so wise. So I heard this story in the news the other day. We had a woman that went to like a grocery store with her 5-year-old and her little girl that's like a year and a half.
Mhm.
And her son kept saying, "Mommy, I don't like it here. I don't want to go here. I don't." He kept saying it over and over.
Yeah.
And she just thought, well, something must have scared him or whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
little
they're
kid,
walking back to the
nervous.
car, and a man just pops up right beside her, tells her to put the kids in the car, and then he was beginning to accost her right there
Oh,
in the parking lot.
oh
And
my God.
this is really kind of sad. Two men saw it and called the police, but they didn't come help her. But anyway,
The-
she was able to get away. But that little boy and what he said,
he
and
knew.
we need, they're closer to the veil, number one, but they're also very good with their intuition. Yeah,
Very, and because little kids don't have those filters in place
that's
yet.
right. That's
They
right.
haven't been taught
Right.
not to believe it, or they haven't, or
Yep.
if they're just starting to be taught religious things, and maybe the religious teachings haven't sunk in yet. And little kids, they may not know exactly what all the details of something are, but they know when something's up.
Yep.
They do.
Agreed. No, I
Yeah.
totally agree. I don't know if anybody else has any oh, okay. So Marg is asking if we have a message from her guides. Any
All
kind of
right.
message.
Let's see.
Thank you.
Message from the guides. Ooh, coffee would have been a good idea this morning. I see you had
Yes,
like
I
a.
had to stop. This is my morning ritual. I have to stop and
Oh,
get my
yum.
small iced coffee.
I try to, when I looked after kids, I drank a lot of coffee, but I try to avoid it now. Coffee,
Well,
not so much children, but
it's my only vice. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I swear, but
well,
my
caffeine is not that bad when,
Yeah.
as opposed to other things people get
other
hooked on.
things. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Better coffee than drugs.
But my puppy dog is only 4 months old, and she already knows what Starbucks is, and she already expects a puppuccino every time we go, which is really hard.
That's so funny.
I know.
So message from Marg's guides. I have really good messages here. Like I've got really good cards.
Awesome.
I have here the Sun card.
Perfect.
And this is like saying that there's lots of joy coming into your life, to appreciate and remember the joy that currently surrounds you in life. I have 10 of Pentacles. This is talking about like family in spirit.
Yeah.
A huge extended spiritual family, and they're all here and they all love you. They all check in on you.
Awesome.
there are people that you have in your spiritual family that passed away long before you were ever born, generations before, but they still care about you and they still check in and they're still interested in your life.
That's
I have also. There is, with this Ace of Swords, an energetic shift coming. This could be a new cycle of spiritual awakening or some kind of new beginning for you. And I have the Strength card next to it, and this is saying that you have what it takes. Like, these are wonderful cards.
They are all wonderful cards. Yes.
This is a very good message.
Absolutely.
That, like, I think that you are on your, like, right path, and you are living in alignment with your highest good at the moment. This is a wonderful message.
It is. Wow, Mark, that's fabulous.
Bottom of the deck is just saying, like, she had challenges, and it seems like she's not letting them overtake her and not letting them limit what, you know, not letting them limit what you do in life and not letting them limit your potential, because there's just it's like you've broken out of that.
That's awesome.
So this is such good news for you.
It is. And look at the one I got. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time for you, Mark. Look at that beautiful picture.
Oh, that's pretty.
And you see the child at the bottom, and babies, babies are like new beginnings, as Seanna had shown you. And then we've also got the goddess here. Whoops, this way. The goddess is here. The moon, the sun.
Oh, that's
you
pretty.
are at that pinnacle, Mark. Good for you. Wow. I love that.
That is wonderful.
All right. Have you ever made your own cards?
Well, okay. I can't give too many details on this at the moment because it's still an ongoing project. But
coming.
Another reader and I are working on a deck.
Okay.
And it's the reason I can't give too much info is because it's still a work in progress. We're almost done, but you know, the publishing and stuff might take a little bit of time. However, as we get more information and more permission to share, I definitely will.
Good.
We have a wonderful artist who's been illustrating these just gorgeous tarot cards, and in the future, after all of this, I would like to make my own. I think that would be really fun. I would like to make at least 2 decks. Okay. One maybe simple. I would call it the Doodle Tarot because I'm constantly doodling.
You're a doodler.
I am. I had drawn. It's in my notebook somewhere. Where is it? Where did she go? During a meeting, a Skype meeting, I had doodled this Empress.
Look at that.
A mom feeding a baby, and then little mommy cat and her babies.
I love that.
And then I was saying on a different stream on my channel a few days ago, my older sister is a brilliant painter, and I would love to make a deck and have her illustrate it if she were interested, because at 78, that's a lot.
It is a lot, but you also could do an oracle deck. You could do or
an oracle deck with just like 44 or something.
Yeah, you'd have less to do. Yeah. I watched Andrea on Lilac Lantern, and she has a deck where she made it, on the blank tarot cards. And I've done that myself, and I just put words or I've put a picture or whatever. I don't use it all the time, but it's kind of fun to pull. And I ended up, my real name is Alice, which I like Allie better, but I found this deck of cards called the Alice deck. That was on Etsy. And I bought that. I feel like it was made for me, but it was some other Alice made it. But that's kind of fun.
Okay. I was wondering if it was like an Alice in Wonderland or something.
No, it wasn't that. No, it was just a lady's name that made it. Yeah, I know. Isn't that interesting? Because I've seen those Alice in Wonderlands. Yeah, I have.
Right.
Yep.
Jean has an interesting question.
Does. Wow. Can you imagine one of those family members going into the witness protection program? I don't know how well that would work out.
I mean, everybody recognizes them. There's no hiding. Unless they were to change their physical appearance in some way, even then they still might be recognizable.
Or maybe, yeah, but I'm thinking maybe if they had, and none of them really have children that are older yet. But
No.
no.
At least I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
But that's a good question. I haven't done any political questions in a long time, so sometimes it is nice to, to do one or two.
Sure. I pulled the listen card. Listen. I like that card, but I don't know. I'm guessing that they want to listen to what they have to say, but I'm feeling like my own feelings, like they won't. They won't. But that I want to hear what Seanna has to say. She's the master.
And it's interesting when you had that listen card. An intuition that came in is like they're still listening for legal advice. Like they're still listening to some kind of professional. They're waiting to hear back whether or not they should or could.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I have the Emperor. This always used to be like my card for like 45.
Yeah.
This was him. Yep. I was the
he thinks he's an emperor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He wants to.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what he's really hoping for. But I have Two of Swords, like it's unlikely or just
unlikely.
Unknown, unlikely. It's unknown leaning towards unlikely. But
I believe it.
He really, really, really wants to. Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's a male that wants? No, because the only real female is Ivanka. I don't think she'll do it.
No, and I think it's the 4/5 himself that wants it.
Oh, I see.
That's what I picked up with that Emperor. But I feel I wouldn't be surprised if more than one of them did, want to go into protection.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to do one more only because Ron, who is also a Canadian, asked this question, and then we'll be done for the time. She's in Alberta. I thought it was a question.
I'm in Alberta.
Yeah. Ron is in. Is he in Toronto? I believe so.
Oh, cool. There's lots of Canadian readers out there, and I think Lilac Lantern I think she's also from Alberta, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Yep.
And Psychic Violetta, I think, as well.
What's the name of that? There's another lady that I listen to. I can't think of her name, but she just moved. She has a lot of kitty cats in her house. She does a lot of. I think that's a great idea, Andrea. You know what? Everybody's so different. Whatever it is. Oh yes, he's in Quebec. He said. Okay.
Oh, Quebec. Oh, because I noticed the way he spelled Canadian was French.
Yep. Yeah. He's a Frenchman. Yeah. I think that if you're thinking about a deck that you'd like to make for yourself, I would suggest to check into Soul Collage, and it's something that I'm thinking about possibly doing as a side training thing. But it's like you have cards and you use collage on them, and you make your deck with pictures from. Yeah.
Cool. Oh yeah.
It's a whole different. It's not that it's not metaphysical or whatever, but it's kind of fun. I like collage though,
That's cool.
You have to find but you can find pictures and they can make meaning for you. Seanna, I just thank you so very much for being here. And I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm so proud of you having 7,000 people. And, you're on your way, girl, to the stars here. So good for you.
Thank
Keep
you
it
so
up.
Much for having me. This was wonderful. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you. I did, and I believe that our listeners did too. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.
All right.
Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.